I once had $300,000 in the bank and I was earning as much as 100 grand a year, but I was making two massive mistakes that were costing me years of future growth. The first mistake cost me roughly 120 grand. The second left my 300,000 earning about $30 a year. That works out to $30 a year. From the outside, I looked financially successful. My financial life was far less secure though. And freelance income can expose that gap fast. Let's say you have a great year and you cross six figures. You start spending like that income is guaranteed. Then a client disappears, a project gets pushed, the phone stops ringing. Suddenly, the life you built during your best year has to survive one of your worst. A $100,000 freelance year works way differently than a $100,000 salary. I've spent 25 years producing projects and hiring freelance crew from coast to coast, and I've watched incredibly talented people earn great money during busy stretches, then feel completely exposed when the work slows down. I've also made some of those mistakes myself. I worked hard and I paid attention and I even earned good money. What I lacked was a system for managing income that could disappear without warning. Here's what I eventually realized. My income was only half the equation. I also needed to turn my good years into protection for my slow years. In this business, you need two oars. One keeps the work coming in, and the other makes sure the money that you earn builds something beyond your next paycheck. Ignore either one, and you can work constantly while still feeling like you're going nowhere. In this video, I'll show you the 5 reasons high-income freelance film crew can still feel broke, and how to make sure your next great year creates options instead of more payments. Number 1, your best year will lie to you. You book several jobs in a row, the checks start coming in, and you're working constantly. Maybe there's overtime, maybe you're traveling, maybe a long project keeps you booked for 6 straight weeks. And you start thinking, this is what I earn now. I used to think that way. Freelance income does not arrive evenly. You might earn most of your money during 6, 7, or 8 busy months. That money still has to cover the entire year. Taxes, health insurance, retirement, time off, business expenses. And the months when the phone barely rings, a salaried employee usually knows another paycheck is coming in 2 weeks. You don't have that guarantee. That is why a great month can be dangerous. It convinces you that you can afford a larger apartment, a new car payment, another subscription, maybe even a more expensive vacation. One great month cannot support a full year of assumptions. And in freelance film, your best month will lie to you. I remember finishing a strong run of jobs and looking at my checking account, thinking, I'm doing great. There was plenty of money sitting there. So spending some of it, that doesn't feel risky. I was looking at the balance instead of looking at the whole year. Part of that money belonged to taxes. Part of it needed to carry me through the next slow period. And part of it should have been building my future. That busy stretch made me feel richer than I actually was. Before taking on a new recurring expense, picture your slowest realistic year. Could you still pay for it comfortably? That's the test. A recurring payment will keep showing up, even when the work does not. Number 2, your lifestyle becomes permanent. When I started making real money, I leased a Mercedes S500 and the payment was around $1,200 a month. Then there was insurance and maintenance, mileage, and everything that came with it. At that time, my reasoning was simple. The payment fit. But a payment can fit inside a strong month and still weaken the rest of your year. Over roughly 6 years, that car cost me close to $120,000. I mean, it was a nice car, and I enjoyed driving it, but it did not make my life $120,000 better. The nice car gave me a great driving experience, but it gave me no additional time, work consistency, or peace of mind. What stayed was the large money obligation. And that obligation continued whether I was working or not. That's lifestyle creep. Your income rises and your lifestyle rises with it. A nicer apartment, a new car, better hotels, more expensive restaurants. Business class, enjoying better things is fine, but trouble starts when every increase in income creates an equal increase in spending. You work harder and you earn more, but your financial position barely changes. I do not think the main issue is the coffee you buy on the way to set. It will not determine your financial future. But the car, the house, the debt, the lifestyle you committed to when work was good. What to do. Before making a large purchase, ask yourself 3 questions. What will this cost me in total? What else could that money accomplish? Would I still buy it if nobody else ever saw it? Sometimes the purchase is carrying a message. For example, I'm successful. I've made it. All the work was worth it. Financial fragility is a high price to pay, though, for looking successful. This is one way to strengthen the money ore. Use a good year to reduce future pressure. Avoid adding payments that follow you into every slow one. Number 3, you earn money but never turned it into wealth. While I was spending a lot of money on that Mercedes, I was also saving. I had accumulated $300,000. That should have put me in an incredible position, but almost all of it sat in a regular bank account earning about 0.01% on $300,000. I was earning roughly $30 a year. Why? Because I thought investing was basically gambling. Successful investors seemed like people with some special ability. They could research companies, predict the market, and know exactly when to buy and sell. I basically pictured a guy in a suit yelling, "Sell!" into 2 phones, while 6 monitors flashed behind him. I believed expertise had to come first. So I waited. I was so worried about making a mistake that playing it safe became its own expensive mistake. But here's what I eventually realized. Income is what you earn from working. Wealth is what you keep and put to work. In July of 2023, I finally changed direction. I moved my savings into a high-yield savings account. Then I started investing in broad funds made up of large, established companies. That change was simple. I finally accepted that I did not need to become a Wall Street genius. What to do? Look at the retirement accounts available to you. Choose one simple, broad, low-cost fund. Automate a small amount. Then leave it alone. A responsible first step matters more than complete understanding. That's how the money ore begins working beyond your next paycheck. Number 4, one ore is not enough. Film crew already know how to work hard. You wake up before sunrise, you work long days, you travel, and you solve problems nobody else saw coming. You deal with weather and equipment failures and location problems. Schedule changes too, and then the clients changing their minds. Effort was never my problem. For years, I was rowing that one oar as hard as I could on the work side, but I did not have a system for the money side. The check arrived, it landed in checking. Then everything competed for it. My taxes, my rent, my savings, my investing, groceries. During a busy stretch, the account basically looked healthy, so I spent. Then work slowed down, and I discovered that some of that money was actually tax money, and some of it needed to cover the next month. And some of it should have been building my future. Working harder only handles one side of the problem. Your money still needs a system. The decision should already be made before each check arrives. I think of my checking account as base camp. All of the money arrives there first. Then I divide it intentionally. My system begins by setting aside 30% for taxes. From what remains, I divide the money this way: 50% for expenses, 30% for freedom and the life I want to enjoy now. Then 20% for savings and investing. Once my emergency fund is complete, the savings portion can also move toward investing. Your percentages may be different, and that's fine. The important part is that the money gets a job before you casually spend it. What to do? Before your next check arrives, decide what percentage goes towards taxes, current expenses, your slow season fund, investing, and guilt-free spending. Enjoyment belongs inside the system, but give it a percentage so it cannot consume the entire system. That strengthens the money ore. Even the best money system still needs income coming in. And in this industry, that is never guaranteed. The income may not last. For years, I had a regular client that produced a lot of video work. Then their needs changed. They stopped making the same types of videos. They began focusing more on social content and working with influencers. No other producer took my place. Price was not the issue. The client changed what they wanted to make. And I'm seeing versions of that throughout the industry. Projects are being reduced, budgets are being cut, clients are moving work in-house. Social content is replacing some traditional production. Technology is changing how certain jobs get done, and projects can be discussed and budgeted and scheduled, then just disappear before anyone gets hired. Panic will not help, but planning for change will. I used to assume there would always be more time. I'll start investing later. I'll deal with retirement when things calm down. I'll make up for it after the next big job. But you know what? The next big job is never guaranteed, and even when it comes, there will always be another reason to wait. Retirement matters, but wealth also reduces your dependence on every job between now and then. A slow season fund gives you time. Investments give your money the opportunity to grow. Lower fixed expenses make a slowdown easier to survive. And strong professional relationships help you find the next opportunity without starting from zero. This is where both oars finally come together. One helps you stay visible, valuable, and connected so the work continues. The other helps you keep, protect, and grow enough money to avoid desperation every time the phone rings. Both sides support each other. More income matters when some of it stays, and a good money system still needs a healthy work pipeline. And that brings me to what wealth finally looked like in my own life. A few years ago, I was offered a job that would have paid me $17,500. That's real money, but the situation was toxic. It was the kind of project where you already know what it's going to cost you mentally before it even begins. Earlier in my career, I probably would have accepted it. I would have told myself, it's only a few weeks. You never know when the next job will be coming. This is how I used to get trapped. I accepted work I didn't want because I needed the money more than I needed my sanity. But this time, I said no. I still cared about $17,500. I simply had enough money saved to make the job a choice instead of an emergency. That moment changed my definition of wealth. No penthouse, no luxury car, no brokerage screenshot, just one word. Savings gave me the power to say no. Investing gave me the belief that my money could eventually create more options. Now that's the real goal. Making six figures in film is only the beginning. The goal is to keep enough of it, protect enough of it, and invest enough of it so that the next job becomes your choice instead of an emergency. High income can buy you a more expensive life, but wealth buys you options. Look at your last great year. Did that income create more freedom, or did it create more payments? Are you turning part of every check into assets, or are you assuming that working harder will eventually solve everything? Here's the question that matters most. How much of your current life could you comfortably support for the next 5 years? That answer will tell you more about your financial position than your income ever will. In the next video, I'll show you how to divide an unpredictable freelance paycheck so taxes, slow periods, savings, and investing and spending are covered before the money disappears.